So today I want to share with you the dividend income that I made from my dividend stock holdings in the month of May. As I'm building my dividend portfolio, I want to take you along the journey. I'm just starting off, so obviously the amounts are still rather small, but I hope to make this a series long term so that one day when I look back, I see the humble beginnings, and hopefully by then the amount will be significantly larger, which I'm very confident that over time the dividend snowball growth effect will kick in. Good morning. It seems now even little Nutella got interested in looking into my dividend income report. And as a bonus, I also share with you the cashback I made in the month of May, as well as the interest I earned on my savings. With this, let's get started. So let's head over to Dividend Watch, which is my favorite dividend tracker of choice. You can find the link in the description below to get a special deal if you sign up, but they do also have a free plan, which is enough for most people, but I use the paid plan, so it's really up to you. The great thing is it automatically links to my Interactive Brokers account where I buy all my dividend stocks, and then automatically it brings in the portfolio, and it does a much better job in visualizing. So to start off with, here you can see the total current value of my portfolio, and honestly at the moment I'm only down 277 euros, which is actually not too bad. It used to be way more, and when I look at my crypto portfolio, it's significantly more. So I'm really happy with this because at the same time I'm actually making nice dividends from it. As you can see over here, currently my annual dividend income is projected to be 476 euros. Now I get it, it's still fairly small. For some of you might be peanuts, but once again, I just started really seriously investing in dividend stocks from this year. And when we look at the number from last year, it was only 145 euros. So already a huge growth. And honestly, we're only halfway through the year. Obviously, I'm adding every single week to my portfolio. I think by end of the year, the number will be significantly higher. And then obviously I'm a long-term growth investor. So I'm looking at the next 10, 20, 30 years. And I'm super confident that long-term, I'm definitely going to be hitting the six-figure dividend income level for sure. Right, so one of the cool features about the tool, you can really visualize it in the calendar by month, how the dividends are coming and what day, what is the amount, etc. So you can see here for May when I was paid basically Blackstone on the 8th, then I had later on Apple on the 18th, I have Morgan Stanley on the 15th. So it's really nice and simple to see what's coming up. I can move the month ahead, etc. So really like that feature. Right, but as I mentioned, I want to focus on last month, which was May, and there I made a staggering 47 euros and 25 cents dividend income. Honestly, not too bad. Now I understand it may not convince some of you to invest into dividend growing stocks. You might say, Kai, what the heck is that? You invest over 20k to get 47 euros a month. I understand it's still tiny, but that's once again where the dividend growth over time will come into place. At the same time last year, I only made 1.65 euro from dividends the same period. So you can see already quite a massive growth in terms of percentage. Now I understand in total monetary value, it's still a tiny amount, even though 47 euros actually starts paying for my gym membership. So that's really not too bad, right? And you can see how over time, as I keep on adding more money from my side to buy more stocks, those companies will start paying out more in dividends to me. Plus, they organically also increase the dividend payout over time. I usually look for dividend growth companies that don't just have a flat dividend, but actually manage to grow it over time at least 5%, ideally up to 10% year on year. So even if I don't add anything to that, next year, that will be already around 50 euros in dividends. So you can see how that increases. Imagine one day you have a dividend portfolio that produces 100,000 euros in annual dividend income. Without you doing anything, next year, if your companies on average have around a 10% annual dividend growth rate, you would get an additional 10,000 euros on top of your 100,000, making it 110,000 euros in annual dividend income. So you can see how that really starts to snowball. Right, so let's have a look at the companies that have actually paid me in the month of May. So first up, we have, of course, Apple, which paid me. There's the ex-dividend date, so that's the date by which you need to own the stocks. Then you also have the pay date over here, how many shares I hold, what is the dividend per share, and then the total payout. In my case, I got 1.69 euro from Apple. Now, obviously, I don't own too much Apple. If we head over to Seeking Alpha, where I do all my stock research, and if you haven't signed up to them yet, use my link in the description below to get a very special deal for you. They do also have a free version, but the paid one gives you so much more access to unlimited articles and really great data and insights. So I really love that tool for myself, so check it out. They have a free trial for you to give it a go. But basically, when we look at Apple, the yield is only 0.5%. So for me, it's really tiny dividend. So while I love the company and all their products, as a dividend growth investor, I'm not so excited to buy more of it anytime soon. Then the second company that has paid me is Munich Re, which is basically the insurance for insurance companies. And they basically reinsure the insurance companies. So really a solid business model and have been doing very well. You can see over here back on Seeking Alpha, over the last year, they grew by 46% in price. They currently have a dividend yield of 3.56%. So really juicy dividend for sure. So in general, I really love the company. I would like to invest more into it because I really like the insurance business. One thing though I don't really like, As it is a German company listed in Germany, most of those companies, they do actually pay on an annual basis. As you can see over here, the frequency is annual. There are some companies in the US that pay monthly, but the majority pay on a quarterly basis. Now in theory, it doesn't really matter when you get your dividend, right? If you get monthly, quarterly or annually, the percentage is always based on the annual amount. So in total, there isn't actually any difference. It's just sliced and diced. But ask yourself, would you work for 12 months to get your salary at the end of the year, which is also the same as if you would get it every single month, right? In total, there isn't any difference. But getting that regular cash flow really makes things so much easier, helps you to manage money better. So for me, why I'm investing in dividends is for the fact that one day, once it starts compounding and growing to a really healthy level, I can actually live from those dividends, pay myself out and use the money for my everyday expenses. So if I only get it on an annual basis, for me just psychologically, it doesn't feel so exciting than getting every single month a payout from a different company. So ideally, I would have a number of different companies that don't all pay at the same quarter, but a lot of companies are paying on different quarters, that every single month I end up getting some kind of paycheck rather than having to wait on an annual basis. So as I said, it's a personal preference, but for me, now having received that annual dividend on the month of May, I will have to wait another 12 months until I get yet another check from that company. So for me, I'm not really so bullish on it. Of course, you can see with the Munich Re company, they did have the largest impact for the month because that is the annual dividend for the entire year versus some of the other amounts that are sliced and diced on a monthly or quarterly basis. So you can see it's a bigger amount, that's great. But keep in mind, I won't be getting any other dividend for the next 12 months basically. Let me know in the comments how you think about it, but for me, I really prefer companies with a monthly or quarterly dividend payout. Right, another company I've come to like very much and invested more and more recently is Blackstone, which has paid me €4.37. Blackstone is actually reaching near their 52-week low, which is something I always look at to make sure I don't overpay at the current prices. And currently they really have an attractive dividend yield of 4.55%. So I'm really excited about this company and will invest more. Then of course my favorite REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust, which is Realty Income. They paid me €4.70. And the great thing about Realty Income, in addition to the very high yield of 5.15% currently, as you can see over here, they are paying out on a monthly basis. So every single month I get that amount paid, and as I keep buying their stock, that monthly amount actually grows very nicely over months, and next month I will immediately have a higher amount. Versus imagine when I buy next month more of Munich Re insurance, I wouldn't have any impact on my dividend income the following month, right? Because I would have to wait the next 11 months until I would have the higher payouts. As soon as I buy more stocks, I will feel the impact next month already. That's why I like monthly and quarterly dividend paying stocks. And lastly, Morgan Stanley, a company I've been very happy with and definitely plan to buy more of, paid me €1.66. They are also near their 52-week low and currently pay a nice dividend yield of 3.79%. And when I look at the total return of Morgan Stanley versus the S&P 500, I can see over the last 10 years, the S&P 500 returned 210%, while Morgan Stanley actually returned almost 300%. So it did significantly better, and total return is always interesting for me to look at because I don't want to just look at price. As you can see over here, most people only look at the price. That's when they see, stock price going up or down. But obviously I invest in dividend growth companies, so we need to factor in the additional payout of the dividends. So that's kind of the reinvestment of your dividends, and that's really the cherry on top. Because when you see over here, when I only look at the price, Morgan Stanley only returned 215 and the S&P 500 156. But when we factor in the dividend, that's where the additional growth to almost 300% comes from. So yeah, definitely very happy with the growth year on year. When I look at last year versus this year, nice to see. And looking ahead for next month's June, actually is going to be quite a good month for me. As you can see, a number of stocks are paying, including my biggest one, which is the S&P 500 WUSA ETF. So there you can see the dividend is not confirmed yet. All others are confirmed. And don't forget, I might actually add additional stocks of companies that could potentially pay a dividend in June. And if I do that before the ex-dividend date, that number will actually go up because I will still then qualify for a dividend in June. And here again, back to the calendar view for June to see what is upcoming. So really nice visualization over there. So that's it for the dividends for the month of May. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I also want to show you what I earned in interest for the month of May. So for that, I actually use an app called Lightyear. You can use the link in the description below to sign up and you will get €10 worth of free shares in return. Right, so when I open the app over here, you can see my total portfolio. Right now, my investments are very little because most of my investments are with interactive brokers. However, I do use it to park my cash, which I previously had on my bank account where I got 0 for it. imagine, in such a high interest environment we're in, they're not paying a single euro for me unless I'm willing to lock it up for 1 year, which I'm not. I want to be liquid and use the cash whenever I need to, and I don't want to sign it up for 1 year because I don't know what's going to happen in 1 year. So I want to have it and be able to withdraw it anytime I wish. So with Lightyear, you actually have a great benefit if you click into cash over here, and you can see immediately I'm getting 2.5% on my cash, which I'm able to withdraw every single day. The good thing, it's accrued every single day. So every day you will see the change in interest rate over here, and it's paid out to you at the end of every single month. So at the end of the month, you'll actually get the payment from them. You can also see the other two currencies that are supported, US dollars, where you get 4.25% interest on your money, and for British pounds, 3.75%. And the good thing is, as you can see over here, if I click into this, they're really following the ECB rate, which is currently 3.25%. They will take a small fee of 0.75%, which is fair enough. And they basically pass on the 2.5% to you directly without any lockup whatsoever, like most other banks have in place. So for me, that's very attractive. Now, right now, you see the unpaid interest is 0 because actually they paid out to me. As I said, it's the beginning of the new month. So they paid out last month, which was actually around 20 euros. And I only started halfway through the month to really put more cash into this. So you will see for next month, that amount will be even higher. Now, of course, I would love to have even more cash in here. However, they only protect your cash up to 20,000 euros. So that's why I don't want to put all my eggs into one basket, because God forbid something happens, I might lose the money, but up to 20,000 euros, it is protected. So for me, that's really much more attractive than just keeping it in my bank account. And one more thing I want to share with you, in addition to the dividend income and interest I get, I also consider the cashback as some kind of passive income I get on a monthly basis just by spending the money I get back from my bank, which is in this case Revolut. I've recently upgraded to the Revolut Metal plan. I made a whole video about it. If you're interested, you can check it after this video. But basically, you can see over here, most of the amount actually came from using Revolut Pro. So when I click onto this over here, you can see for the month of May, I almost got 20 euros in cashback, which is really good because in total I pay around 11.50 euro for using Revolut Metal on a monthly basis. I signed up for the annual plan. So I actually make money with Revolut Metal by having a higher cashback. You can see over here, now I'm getting 0.8% cashback with my metal using Revolut Pro instead of only 0.6 as I previously had with Revolut Premium. So for me, it was a worthwhile upgrade. And if I go back over here, you can see stays, where I'm gonna get 10% cashback on any bookings I make through the platform. So the more I start traveling, that number will definitely go up very nicely in the near future. And there you have it. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. It means the world to me. Next up, check out this video over here. As always, stay healthy, get wealthy, and I see you in the next one. Ciao.